What are some of the most important aspects to ranching in Montana? So, what are some of the more important aspects to the Hashknife Ranch?
Weather, livestock, and weather.
Oh, fantastic. Things we can't
Markets help.
control.
Exactly. Of keeping them alive. Oh God, timing is everything. And timing is not something you plan or can plan. It is pure luck sometimes, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just and the timing can be good timing. You always hope for that, but it's the bad timing too. And
I was to say, we've been on both ends.
yeah.
Like a couple years ago, I think it was a matter of literally a couple $100 per animal at the ring.
Oh yeah.
That was timing. And we
Right.
lost those couple
Right.
$100 per animal.
Right.
And then last year, we hit a pretty good timing, thankfully. It was right towards the peak, and we got some good prices for some calves that went to town. Um, but I mean, those
Yeah,
that's
but
a
the
good
problem
year.
is it was eaten up by high hay costs.
It was,
So
it's just
yeah.
it's hard to, and that's the other thing too. You bring that up too. Hay is timing. You got to call the right guys or the right gals at the right time at the right place to make
And if
sure that
they've
you
got
have.
it because of weather,
Yep.
then you might be okay. And this year was one of those years like that. I mean, it's and prices are still inflated on the hay because of
Yeah.
price of fuel, price of
Well,
fossil fuels, fertilizer.
that
Uh,
and some people have not come down from the drought from the northern end, and
right.
from the southern end of the US, they were hitting drought, and their prices were inflated because they were
Right.
suffering from drought. So it's like you're kind of in that fluctuation. But
Right.
those are the things, like you said, that actually I said because I'm a genius. But those are the things that are the items we cannot control. What are some of the more
Right.
important aspects of ranching that we can control?
Your numbers. And the problem with that is that's an inverse kind of relationship. The less numbers you have, the less you lose, but you're not
Yeah.
making a lot, right? It's like I've said before, it's like the old volume discount dealer for cars. If you have 100,000 of them and you can make $1 a piece, that's not bad for us. That'd be very, very good for us. But if you've only got 100 head and you're making $1 a piece, that's a lot of effort for not a lot of gain. So, those are some things that you can do. Um,
Well,
but
and
it's
I'll
it's
cut
it's
in on that
still
too. Is it's not just the revenue, because the difference between profit and revenue. We'll just say revenue because that's the income that you receive.
yep.
The big thing though is I think it goes back to the some of the buzzwords of the modern age, which is regenerative farming and regenerative ranching. Like that goes back to, we don't we can control numbers because it also controls how much our pastures are grazed, and to the extent at which the grass can regenerate and reproduce at a effective
And
amount, or
sustainable.
effective, yeah, sustainable, growth.
Hmm. Well, there's that. The problem with some of it is it's the leading indicators of what you need to do are very, very short term, and you can't respond quick enough. So there's a lot of luck involved with it. For instance, like a year like this year is good. We've got a lot of grass. Our pastures look great. In fact, they look so good. And with the kind of the timing again, where we wanted to bring the cows home and be at market with them, is that um, I pulled out of our lease pastures several weeks early.
Yep.
And so we brought them home because it was more efficient to do that, or easier to do that. I'm not utilizing that grass, but you know what? I got grass at home. We're not going to use it all up. And if you can give that lease a little bit of a rest, even 3 weeks is a big deal. That you're not chewing, grass down, where you can let it alone and have a little bit better start next year. So those are a few things, but when you're keeping a cow and she's, say, even if you bred a yearling heifer and she calves when she's 2, you keep that calf, you're at a 2.5 year lag from the time you had an indicator that, oh, you know what, our grass isn't that great. Do we dump this heifer or do we keep her? So, it's so dependent on what you do into the future that it's really hard uh, to have much of a margin in order to maximize and still be efficient.
Yeah, and that's some of the more important aspects to ranching.